I won 20 million yuan in the lottery and was about to tell my kindergarten teacher girlfriend. However, I saw her post on Moments. She was sitting in a Maybach, wearing a haute couture strappy dress, and her knees were slightly red. Another day of envying other people's sons. Andre's dad is so excellent. Maybach. Andre's dad. The case is solved. The person she hooked up with is my boss. I panicked immediately, because I was holding my boss's test report with a large line of words on it. Antibody positive. Recognition successful. Today is QIXI festival. It was also agreed that Alani and I would go on a date on the street. I also spent half a month's salary and bought a set of Chanel to give to her. But the boss is not being a decent person. He threatened me with deducting my salary to go back and work overtime. He also asked me to go to a male hospital after work to pick up the test report. By the time I got home, it was already 9 o'clock in the evening. Alani must be angry because of my failure to keep the appointment. She hasn't talked to me all day. Alani, I'm wrong. I'll give you whatever you want as long as you forgive me. The message I sent still sank without a trace. I sighed. It seems that it will take several days to coax her again this time. At 9:30, I remembered the lottery ticket I bought downstairs at the company during the day. I searched for the lottery results and compared the lottery ticket carefully. When I confirmed that I had won the first prize, my heart pounded wildly. The prize money is 20 million yuan. After paying taxes, there are also 16 million yuan. A huge fortune has fallen from the sky. I immediately wanted to tell Alani this good news. She always complains that I'm poor and have a bad job. She's afraid that I can't afford to marry her and that she'll suffer with me in the future. Now I'm looking forward to her reaction when she learns that I won 20 million yuan. She will definitely praise me to the skies. Being praised by her is my greatest pursuit. Just as I was about to send a message to Alani, I saw her post on Moments. I couldn't help but click and unfrown. She actually posted a photo of sitting in the passenger seat of a luxury car. Another day of envying other people's sons. Andre's dad is so excellent. 3 minutes ago. The person in the photo must be her. I can recognize it at a glance. But the haute couture strappy dress that I can't afford and the red mark on her knee that makes people think are making my mind go blank. Her younger brother Jackson liked and commented, "Sister. Quickly hen. Isn't he better than Nash, that poor guy?" Alani replied, easily, "Naughty I am Nash. That poor guy." Looking at this Moment's post, my fist unconsciously clenched. In these years, I have been wholeheartedly good to her. Even though she likes to belittle me, I still think it's because I haven't given her enough sense of security. But I didn't expect that her face is so ugly. At the beginning, when my friends heard that my girlfriend is a kindergarten teacher, they advised me to break up. I didn't listen and almost got into a fight with the other person. Now thinking about it, my face really hurts. Alan I's cheating is already a certainty. I saved the photo and was about to ask Alani clearly, we are still in a relationship. If she thinks I'm poor and wants to break up, why did she choose to cuckold me? The moment I clicked on the photo, I was stunned. The luxury car she was sitting in was a Maybach, and the interior was exactly the same as my boss Clark's car. I have seen his son before. His name is also Andre. Damn it. This shitty boss. It's okay for him to oppress me at work. Now he's hooking up with my girlfriend. What's the difference between this and shitting on my head? Forcing myself to suppress my anger and wanting to study this Moment's post by Alani again. After refreshing, it disappeared. Most likely it was deleted and reposted with me blocked. At this time, I noticed Clark's test report, suddenly remembering the attitude of the nurse when I picked up the report, deliberately avoiding me and looking at me with a mocking and sympathetic look. So what was this test for? Could it be a venereal disease? To thinking of Clark hooking up with Alani, I didn't waste any time and quickly opened the file bag. Inside was clearly his HIV antibody confirmation test report. On the conclusion there was a large line of words, HV1 antibody positive. What does this mean? I was completely clueless as I had never paid attention to this thing. I opened my phone and searched. Soon I confirmed he has a serious venereal disease. I panicked immediately. Alani was fooling around with a man who might have a venereal disease. I had held hands and kissed her. Wouldn't I also be at risk of infection? Not in the mood to confront Alani. I searched for symptoms again, except for feeling nauseous and having a little pain in my knee joint. None of the others matched. But I'm nauseated by this couple. The joint pain is due to the heavy workload recently on running errands a lot, but just to be on the safe side, I still plan to go to the hospital for a checkup. I put the test report back, restored the file bag to its original state, and then hung the Chanel that was going to be given to Alani on a second-hand trading platform. This gift doesn't need to be given anymore. It's impossible to return it either. It's better to sell it second-hand and get some money back. Forcing myself to endure the nausea, I packed up all the things she left here and stuffed them into a cardboard box and sealed it. I want to break up with Alani now. Naturally, these things need to be returned. After midnight, Alani finally appeared. Nash, why are you so insincere? You didn't show any signs on QIXI Festival? Where are you? Where's the gift for me? Are you planning to just muddle through this day? In the past, I would have quickly run to her downstairs, coaxed her down nicely, and then presented the gift. But now I am indifferent. It's not the time to break up with her. I still have a card to replace and get the money back first. Why not directly ask for the card back? Thinking that the man she hooked up with has a venereal disease, I think that card is also dirty. I sneered and replied to her, I'll give you the gift tomorrow. Don't worry. It will definitely be a big surprise. It's getting late. I'm going to sleep. This is your attitude. Don't you love me anymore? Your gift had better not disappoint me. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Alani threatened. I didn't respond anymore. Lying in bed, I thought of all the things between me and her. I really didn't expect that I had been in love with such a woman for 2.5 years. At first, she chased me. That day, I was having Hai Dai Lao with a few friends. She came to talk to me. She had a pure and lovely appearance and was enthusiastic and proactive. I quickly fell for her. We had a wonderful and comfortable time. In the last year, we started talking about marriage. She gradually had more opinions about me. She said my job was average and my ability to make money was not good. How could I give her a happy and stable home like this? To marry her, I must give a bride price of 500 yuan and also have a car and a house. I love her like my life. Naturally, I try my best to meet her requirements. Up to now, I already have a car. My parents have long prepared the down payment for the house. I have saved 450 yuan for the bride price and it is stored in the bank card that Alani is keeping. Now that I have unexpectedly seen Alani's true face, of course I can't marry her anymore, but I really loved her. It still hurts to let go so suddenly. The next day, I asked a delivery person to send that box of things to Alani's house and then went to the bank to replace the card. When I checked the balance on the card, only 20.5 yuan was left out of the 450 yuan. I felt a chill all over. This is the money I saved by working day and night for 2 years. Where did Alani spend it? 3 polite. I quickly calmed down. No matter what Alani did with this 450 yuan, we are just boyfriend and girlfriend. I didn't give this money to her as a gift. Then she must return it to me. I said to the teller, I won't replace it for now. Please help me print the transaction details of this card. Looking at the printed transaction details, I was so angry that I laughed. It was only in the past half month. Alani transferred money to herself from this card for 9 consecutive days. Every day was a transfer of the maximum amount of 50 yuan. Even so, she still has the nerve to hook up with Andre's dad. Just then, Alani called. As soon as I picked up, I heard her scolding. Nash? What do you mean? Is this your QIXI festival gift? Are you out of your mind? I thanked the teller, walked out of the bank, and coldly said to Alani, I want to break up with you. Return the 450 yuan in the bank card. She was stunned for several seconds, sneered. Once it's given to me, it's my money. Break up, right? I agree. Hurry up and get lost. Now that she has hooked up with a rich man, she doesn't pretend anymore. She shows her ugly face. I really feel that I was blind before. It took me so long to see this person clearly. I had turned on the phone recording earlier. I asked her, "Are you saying that you don't plan to return this money and want to default on it?" She was like a rogue. "I'll default on it. So what? What can you do to me? If you have the guts. Sue me. You wasted so much of my time. What's wrong with giving me some money?" I calmly said, "Alani, this money was agreed upon at the beginning. You also promised that you wouldn't touch a cent of it. Now that we break up, you should return the money to me, since you want to default on it. Then I'll call the police now." Alani panicked. "Nash, do you have to make it so ugly? You're poor anyway. Why are you so petty? Look, what nonsense she's saying. She is greedy for money but bites me back." Not wanting to waste words with her, I hung up the phone with a "see you at the police station." I directly called the police and said that Alani had embezzled my property. An hour later, I met Alani and her family at the police station. As soon as she came up, she slapped me and accused me with tears in her eyes. "You want to break up with me? You're also in a hurry to get back the bride price that was agreed upon." I raised my hand and slapped her back even harder. "Damn it. Don't think I don't know about you fooling around with Clark." Alan's face changed. Covering her face, she asked me, "You saw it. How do you know him?" She never cared where I worked. She only cared about how much money I could earn every month. Naturally, she didn't know that I was Clark's employee. Alan's father and Jackson were about to rush over to beat me. I picked up a stool and was ready to fight back. "Put down the stool. All of you step back. What do you think this place is?" the police ordered. We all became obedient. I had already submitted to the police the chat records between me and Alani about this money, the bank card transaction details, and the screenshot of her Moments post yesterday. Seeing the screenshot of Moments, Alani stopped acting. "So this is where you were waiting for me?" "Yes. I like Clark." "Who told you to be so poor and stingy? It took you so long to save up 500 yuan for the bride price. I really had bad luck knowing you." The police coldly stopped her from continuing. "This is not a vegetable market. If you want to quarrel, go outside. Alani, return this money now. Otherwise, he can completely sue you in court." I casually reminded Alani, "Clark is at least a big boss. If you go to prison for being a deadbeat, this rich guy will run away." Alani immediately panicked and looked at her family. "Mom and Dad? What should we do? I can't go to jail." "Xiaolei, how much is left with you?" Jackson spread his hands. "Nothing left. It's all spent." I felt cold inside. Good. The money I had painstakingly saved by being frugal for 2 years was spent by them in half a month. I don't care who they spent it on. Now I just want to get the money back and not let them take even a penny. Jackson looked at me resentfully. This kind of person is a loser. "Sister, why did you fall for him in the first place? You're so stingy about such a small amount of money." Suddenly his eyes lit up. "Brother-in-law is rich, isn't he? He drives a Maybach. Taking out a few 100,000 yuan must be no problem. Sister, quickly call him." "Goodness, we just broke up and he's already calling Clark brother-in-law. For the sake of money. He has no shame at all." Alani was hesitant. "But he hasn't divorced yet. For yes, not only did she cheat on me and cuckold me, but she also got involved in someone else's marriage. Otherwise, how could Clark be Andre's dad?" I watched coldly with the police, but Alani came over and said nicely to me, "Nash, do you have to be like this? We were in a relationship for 2.5 years. Can this money be considered as breakup fee?" I was astonished. How did I not realize that this woman is so thick-skinned? "Then should I ask you for mental damage compensation for cuckolding me? Where do you get the nerve?" "Comrade police officer, it seems that she doesn't want to give this money. I will directly sue her and let her be disgraced. In the past, I was gentle and caring to her and took great care of her. But now that I know her true face, I am harsher than anyone else." Alan's family immediately panicked. she quickly said. I'll contact Clark right away. He's not like you. He's much more generous than you. He loves me very much and will definitely give me this money. I also think so. Our company occupies a floor in a CBD office building anyway. As the boss, Clark must have no problem taking out such a small amount of money. 2 hours later, Clark finally arrived. As soon as he came, he hugged Alani in his arms. Where's that brat who bullied you? Where is he? Looking at him hugging the woman I liked for 2.5 years so tightly. I seriously suspect that he wants to infect her with the venereal disease as soon as possible. Perhaps she has already been infected. Or perhaps Alani got the disease first. Thinking of this, I felt nauseated. I first distanced myself from this couple. I smiled. Are you blind? Your daddy is here. Clark saw me, was stunned for 2 seconds, and sneered. Oh, I thought it was who. Isn't this, little Mash? So you are Ellen I's boyfriend. He then turned cold. You don't want your job anymore. Dare to cause trouble for Alani. I advise you to leave quickly. Otherwise, I'll fire you. I took out my phone, took pictures of them, and said calmly, you don't want to give the 450 Zaro yuan? Then I'll announce it to the world right now. A big boss is hooking up with my girlfriend. Most importantly, you are still Andre's dad. If Andre's mom finds out, will she make you leave the house with nothing? Damn you. Clark really wanted to beat me. But this is the police station. He quickly held back, glared at me angrily, and gritted his teeth. You poor kid. Even if you take this money, you won't get rich. As long as you dare to take it, I'll make sure you have no place in this industry. You won't be able to find a job in the future. Are you threatening him? The police immediately questioned. Clark chuckled. Nothing of the sort. I'm going to transfer the money to him. After receiving the money that was rightfully mine, I thanked the police and walked out of the police station with big strides. They quickly followed. Under Clark's embrace, Alani taunted me. Your ex is your current employee. Nash, aren't you ashamed? Jackson looked at me with a malicious smile. Poor guy. If you kneel down to my brother-in-law now, you might still be able to keep your job that pays 25. Sorry you on a month. Ellen I's parents. The 2 people who almost became my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Also, Abali attacked me. Clark waved at me. Kneel down quickly. Maybe I'll be merciful and let you off. I am very glad that I broke up with Alani. If I had really saved enough money to marry her and her family is so strange. One can imagine how miserable my life would be in the future. I am even more glad that I won 20 million yuan yesterday. No, Alani pretended hypocritically. Nash. Actually, I had planned to marry you. But you are too poor. You are not even 1% as good as Clark. I really don't want to wrong myself. Fortunately, you have self-awareness and left on your own, fulfilling me and Clark. I looked up at this pair of strange siblings and pointed to the banner hanging in the lottery store next to it congratulating the lottery buyer on winning 20 million yuan. Do you know who it's talking about? It's me. They were stunned for a few seconds after hearing this, and then burst out laughing. It's so funny. Poor guy. Are you out of your mind? You? Win 20 million yuan? Then I can win 100 million. Jackson laughed so hard that he held his stomach. Alani looked at me sympathetically. Nash, if you are sick, go see a doctor quickly. Don't make a fool of yourself here. You can just think I'm sick. Ignoring their ridicule, I quickly left. I went to the hospital for an examination first. After confirming that I was not infected, I took the high-speed rail to collect the prize. Everything went smoothly and I got 16 million yuan. During this time, Alani frequently showed off her love-on moments and didn't block me. There were all kinds of shocking photos. Showing off, extravagantly. In the past, I was with the wrong person. It turns out that he is my most perfect destination. I sharply commented, has Jesus divorced yet? You are so arrogant. She quickly called me through voice chat, probably wanting to scold me. I rejected and blocked her. Ignoring her anymore. I started spending money busily. I returned the rented house and exchanged it for a large flat. Then I brought my parents over so that they could enjoy some happiness too. When they learned that I had broken up with Alani, they actually urged me to go on blind dates. Unable to resist them, I had to carry out blind dates and job hunting at the same time. Even if I'm rich again, I can't just sit and eat without doing anything. However, after I submitted hundreds of resumes on Boss AIPN, there was no response. Later, I learned from an HR that Clark, this immoral guy, spread rumors that my work mistakes caused huge losses to the company, resulting in me being blacklisted by the entire industry. I thought he was just threatening me at first. I didn't expect him to really do this. I have been a workhorse in his company for 5 years in vain. Since he is unkind, then I will be unjust. I hired a group of people to hold banners downstairs his company. One banner read, "Clark, you son of a bitch. You know you are the third party but still become one. You cheat within marriage." And the other banner read, "The shitty boss of jinking. Subjected to slander and ruining my future." I also found someone to write a tear-jerking short essay for me, attaching those shocking photos posted by Alani. I made it into a roll-up banner and displayed it together with the banners. With an hourly wage of 100 yuan, this group of people worked very hard. I heard that it had a great impact and many people watched. However, in just an hour, my ex-girlfriend Alani called. She asked indignantly, "Nash, what do you mean? I have given you the 450 yuan. You also received compensation for leaving your job. Why are you making such a fuss? Do you know you are breaking the law?" I coldly retorted, "Why don't you ask what good things your rich guy has done? He spread rumors about me and made me unable to find a job. Can't I fight back?" She was silent for 2 seconds, and her tone softened. "Nash, can you stop making trouble? Can't we part on good terms? Clark is going through a divorce. You are doing this now, ruining my happiness, you know?" Oh, really? My greatest happiness now is to see your misfortune." After saying that, I hung up the phone. 6 later, the people I hired called me and said that the security guards drove them away. I asked them to continue making trouble across from the office building, afraid that they would be discouraged. I gave them a pay raise. I am not one of those shitty capitalists. I love working people the most. This matter was very effective. While I was having lunch, Clark and his wife NEA contacted me, one after the other. Between my former boss and former boss's wife, I decisively chose the latter. I didn't hide anything either. I sent all the evidence of Clark hooking up with Alani to her. At the same time, I reminded Clark asked me to pick up the test report at the male hospital that day. "Be careful. He might have a venereal disease." I didn't dare to say it too specifically. Otherwise, I might get into trouble. As a thank you, she sent me a big red envelope. But I didn't accept it. She also said, "Mr. Nash, for the harm Clark has caused you, I will double compensate you later." I didn't take this sentence seriously. Now that I am rich, I am completely uninterested in the pie drawn by others. But unexpectedly, Clark is just a golden shell. This NEA is the real rich person. In just one day, she drove Clark out of the company. The next day, she divorced him and made him leave the house with nothing. Their son Andre, of course, is with NEA. She immediately had Andre transferred to another kindergarten. As for that Maybach, it was also taken back by her and sold to others. All these were told to me by NEA herself. At the same time, she said to me, "Mr. Nash, for Clark's slander against you, I have asked the company to issue a statement to clarify. If you are interested, our company can continue to hire you. Your position will be promoted by 1 level and your salary will increase by 30. A good horse doesn't eat back grass, but this grass is really sweet." I agreed decisively. I am very familiar with the work in this company. Going back to work is like having a high-paying and comfortable job. I saw Alani and Clark again half a month later. I was meeting a blind date in a Western restaurant. This couple came over with their arms around each other. By the way, my blind date is my college classmate. We had mutual affection before. It's just that after graduation, we went our separate ways. When the two of them saw me, they slowed down. Clark pointed at me and scolded, "You brat. It was you who plotted against me, right? Are all the evidence in NEA's hands given by you?" Alani looked at us and said maliciously, "Nash, I know you hate me because of love and want to destroy my happiness. But aren't you being too extreme? A person like you will harm whoever you marry." Her words are trying to ruin my fate with my old classmate. I looked at this couple and said calmly, "Think whatever you want." But I looked at the swelling on Clark's neck and the rash on Alani's arm and looked disgusted. "Do you have a venereal disease? Stay away. I'm afraid of getting dirty." As soon as the words fell, all the guests nearby who were watching the excitement were scared and quickly moved away. Alani's face changed. "What are you talking about? You are the one with a venereal disease. My husband and I are very clean. You just can't bear to see me happy." "Awesome. It's only been a few days since they hooked up and she's already calling him husband?" Clark had a constipated expression. Before Alani could scold me anymore, he pulled her and quickly left. This meal suddenly became unclean. I left with my old classmate Navy. "She is your ex-girlfriend? Do you have a problem with your taste in people?" She looked at me amused, her face gentle. I carefully touched her hand. "I won't be wrong this time. Old classmate, can you give me a chance?" She didn't speak but nodded gently. Thinking that Alani might have been infected, I decisively sent a complaint letter to the kindergarten where she works. 3 days later, when I came home from work, I was blocked by Alani downstairs in the company. At this time, she had already put on a mask and wrapped herself up tightly. She wanted to grab me. I quickly distanced myself from her. She shouted at me loudly, "Nash, you have moved. Have you bought a house? Didn't you really win 20 million yuan? Yes?" I asked in reply, without waiting for her answer. I quickly walked away. She has a venereal disease now. I have to stay away from her. Now I have a double harvest in work and love. I have reached the stage of discussing marriage with Navy. After all, we are old classmates and are very familiar with each other's characters. I didn't care about Alani's movements anymore. But one night, I saw a video of her and Clark fighting on the street on Dewey Inn. In the video, Alani's family surrounded Clark and beat him. Alani scolded him loudly, "You whore. You knew you had a venereal disease but still hooked up with me. Did you deliberately infect me?" Her younger brother kicked Clark twice. "Damn it. If we don't get $2 million for this matter, we won't let it go." Clark was beaten so badly that he knelt on the ground and cried, "I left the house with nothing. How can I have so much money? The remaining money has all been spent by you. You can't bully me like this." This couple has come to such a point. It's really hard to hold back a laugh. 2 days later, Alani actually came to my house. Looking at the large flat where our family lives, her eyes lit up. I closed the door and said to her outside, "Speak quickly if you have something to say. Fart quickly if you have one." Her tone was rarely gentle. Nash, I didn't get married to that son of a bitch. Now that I have dumped him, can we be together again?" I was speechless. "You come to me for a reunion when you are infected with a disease. What kind of crazy dream are you having?" She shook her head wildly. I asked, "IIDS can be treated. Didn't you win 20 million yuan? It's more than enough to treat this disease. I don't want a bride price now. I just want to be with you. Nash, will you marry me?" I took out my phone and called the community security guard. "Come quickly. There is a crazy person here. Hurry up and doctor her away." But Alani refused to give up. Before leaving, she said to me again, "Think about it again. At worst, this is me now. How do you know that the next one you find will be better than me? I promise you that I will be loyal to you from now on and be a good Mrs. Nash for you. I just feel unlucky." Is there something wrong with her mind now? Getting angrier and angrier, I kicked her into the elevator. I still underestimated Alani's thick skin. In the middle of the night, she added me with a small account. As soon as she added me, she sent me revealing photos and sent several in a row. She also said, Nash, I'm yours in life and yours in death. Don't you want me to call you, my dear? Forgive me. Okay? I will promise you a happy life. I have known her for so long. She has never said such sweet words, nor sent me such photos. I didn't expect that after we broke up, she would do this to me. I didn't dare to click on those photos with serious PS traces. I impatiently replied, what PS tool did you use that is so powerful? I can't see at all that you are sick. In the past, she would have scolded me long ago. This time, she said gently, yes, I am sick. Sick with love sickness for you. Now there is only you in my heart and I can't hold anyone else anymore. It's really disgusting. His father opened the door for him. It's disgustingly disgusting. I scolded, if you are sick, go and treat it. Don't act crazy here. What bad luck. To meet such a big bitch like you. After scolding, I blocked her and didn't give her a chance to reply. I thought she would finally stop. But she didn't give up. She went live on the internet and said that I abandoned her after winning 20 million yuan. Her younger brother accused me in the live stream, saying that I'm stingy and deeply scheming, wasting his sister's great youth. He also deliberately revealed my information. Thoughtless netizens crazily insulted me in the live stream. Some even called me and sent text messages, saying that I am a scumbag, a miser, and telling me to die. There are also extreme people who come to splash feces on my door, scaring my parents badly. I have seen through it. If this kind of bitch is not completely defeated, she will not stop. I chose to call the police and submitted all the evidence to the police. Because this matter had a bad impact. This pair of siblings were detained for 15 days. Of course, I didn't let go of those people who insulted me and came to splash feces. One by one, I called the police or sued as appropriate. Some were warned. Some were fined. The world suddenly became much quieter. But this is not enough. You know, there are a lot of people with bad brains. In order not to let my parents be frightened again, I issued a statement on the internet, telling how I discovered Alan I's cheating and how I was harmed by the Mistress Clark. I put all the evidence one by one. Those who had insulted me before began to sympathize with me again. I don't care at all about this, as long as they don't harass us again. When I heard about Alani again, it was already a month later. Alani and her brother and Clark were on social news together. They asked Clark for compensation. When he didn't give it, they insulted him crazily. Clark lost his mind and slashed with a knife, cutting off one of Jack's son's arms. The former company boss, the noble Maybach owner, and the rich guy in Alan I's family's eyes is now down and out and in prison, sentenced to 3 years. 9. What happened later was heard from others. Jackson was injured and Delaney became a lot more honest. But her family couldn't tolerate her and wanted to drive her out of the house after all. She has no money now and is also infected with a venereal disease. She borrowed money from her friends. No one lent it to her. After she hooked up with Clark, she looked down on people and made a lot of enemies. Her reputation in the circle was already ruined long ago. She seemed to start going to nightclubs. When I met her again, I booked a restaurant and was proposing to Navy. She suddenly rushed in, took off her mask, and wanted to come and hug me. Nash, how can you marry another woman behind my back? You are mine. I am your wife. I stepped back. She came forward. I dodged. She tried every means to hug me and kiss me. Damn it. She clearly wants to infect me with the disease. This poisonous woman. I kicked her far away and said to the restaurant staff, she has an infectious disease. Hurry up and doctor her out. At the same time, I called the police. Hello. There is an AIDS patient here who is taking revenge on society. The police and relevant enforcement personnel quickly arrived and took her away. Nash, do you have to bully me to this extent? I just made the mistake that men often make. Do you have to drive me to the end? Alani was distorting the facts again. I coldly replied, you'd better go find Clark. He should really pay for you. We have broken up long ago. Don't pester me anymore. Don't you have any love for me? She asked with a crying voice. I held Navy's hand and interlocked our fingers. Without even looking at Alani, I said, "All my feelings for you disappeared completely on the day you cheated." She broke down and cried and made a fuss there. But she was still taken away. Alani's appearance ruined our mood. But Navy still let me put on the ring. "Will you think I am too heartless to Alani?" On the way to send her back, I asked nervously. She looked at me with a smile in her eyes. "No. We are about to get married. Of course you have to be decisive with your ex. However, I want you to have another physical examination. Will you be reluctant?" How could I be reluctant? I went to the hospital the next day and had a more comprehensive examination. Except for a little high uric acid. There is nothing wrong at all. When Navy saw this physical examination report, she approached me, and gently kissed me on the face. At this moment, I really felt that my world was in full bloom. I haven't seen Alani since then. She seems to have completely disappeared from my life. Without her, my career and love are going smoothly. Nia, as the company boss, values me very much and quickly promoted me to be the head of the department. This means that I can't go to work with the thought of just taking it easy anymore. I can only lead my subordinates to overcome difficulties and win one big project after another. At the end of this year, my year-end bonus reached 6 figures. 11 This day I saw a piece of gossip in the same city. It is said that the anti-vice squad arrested a prostitute who had AIDS. When they checked the payment records, she had received 200 customers in a month. What's more interesting is that the whistleblower is her younger brother. It's really shocking. I inexplicably thought of Alani and her brother, but they should not be the protagonists. Nash, what are you looking at? We should go and toast the elders. Navy. Today is my engagement banquet with her. Many relatives and friends from both families have come. It is very grand. Okay. I'll go there now. Looking at her, I only feel beauty and contentment in my heart. Alani has become a thing of the past. This woman in front of me is the one I will take extra care of for the rest of my life. The road ahead is full of boundless scenery,